It's time now for the big interview on RX Radio Breakfast. And last week, guys from my school, I was talking about it, Cameron and a few other guys headed out to hand out food parcels. And he's going to be telling us a bit more about it. It's been in the news, in the media, and I know about this topic, so it's going to be an interesting interview. It's going to be the weirdest one I've ever done because I'm like an insider for this interview. So we had money for our matric dance. We've donated some of it to get food parcels, and I'm chatting with Cameron this morning, who's joining me on the line. Hello, Cameron.
Hello, Alex.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, thank you. And yourself?
Great, thanks. So, where did the initial idea come from to donate the money to a cause?
So, obviously, with COVID-19 and everything that's happening, there's a lot of people who are going through extremely tough times. And there's a teacher at the school that I often go to soup kitchens with and go to other feeding schemes or outreach programs with. And so we were visiting a few during lockdown, and I saw one in particular that I really thought could use our help, and it would make a massive difference if they got a donation. And so that's where the initial idea came from.
So obviously, I mentioned it in the introduction, we had to get the grade to vote to decide whether to donate the money or not. So what was the general response like from the grade?
You would love to say that it was generally great, but it was actually quite a close call. I think a lot of people in these times are stressing for their own things. I mean, the money was originally a fundraiser for our matric dance next year, and so I think a lot of people are stressing because of what's happening that we won't be able to host other fundraisers, and so they didn't really want to donate the money. But the people who did want to donate, and after we made the donation, the response was extremely positive.
And then you had to put together these food parcels during the lockdown. So what was that process like?
It was quite a long process. Firstly, getting the list of essential food items from Howard's Soup Kitchen, where we donated the parcels to, and then going to the shops with my mom, where obviously you still need to social distance in the shops and have to sanitize after touching basically anything. So we spent a few hours collecting buying all of the items, and then bringing them home and packing them into boxes and taking photos. And so yeah, it was quite a lengthy process, but luckily my mom was available to help me every step of the way.
And then on Thursday last week, a bunch of guys and you from our grade went out to donate them. Where did you go and what was that like?
So we went to an informal settlement called the Haiki in Deep River, and so that's where Howard normally, he's been giving a warm meal once a week to the community there for the past 18 years with his wife, and so that's why we decided to go there. And the experience was absolutely amazing. I've gone there to help out before, and the people there are always so grateful to receive even just one bowl of food. But to see these people, the joy that it brought them to get a whole parcel that could last them for a week or 2 weeks, which meant they were allowed to have more than just one meal a day that was being scavenged for or being donated. It's a lot of discomfort lifted off of their shoulders, and I think in this stressful time, that's exactly what people need.
And then what do you think the message behind this whole experience is for people out there?
I mean, obviously, coming from Rondebosch, we're both, and most of the people from our school are very privileged. And I think it's important for us to recognize our privilege and use it to make other people's lives better, especially if people aren't quite as privileged as us. So, for example, with any other fundraisers or money that a lot of schools might have raised for their matric dances, it's obviously very disappointing that they can't host those dances, but it's an amazing thing to think that you can change the lives or perspectives of people by donating that money. And I think that's the general message that we want to encourage other schools to try and do the same thing.
Awesome. Cam, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You're listening to RX Radio.
For and by children.
RX Radio. RX Radio rocks.